freelancer. A fixer, they call it. That's me, Avalon Darrow, at your service.
Housemarque is a studio synonymous for their bullet hell style games. Whether Super Stardust HD, Outland, Dead Nation, Alien Nation, Resogun, or Nex Machina, there is no denying the intensity and fast-paced gameplay they bring to the table. While Nex Machina released only 2 months ago, Housemarque was hard at work on another title. Enter Matterfall, a game that's part Resogun, part Outland, part Metroid, and part Mega Man. Interesting combination so far, right? Well, let's see how this title fares. Matterfall has you playing the role of Avalon Darrow, a fixer who has to clean up the mess of alien matter that is overrunning the largest city outside of Earth. It's basic enough to just get the plot set up for who you are, what you're doing, or why you're doing it. But let's be honest here. You're not here for an award-winning storytelling. Housemarque thrives on excelling with their mind-blowing action and frenetic pacing. This is where Matterfall matters. Matterfall is a side-scrolling twin-stick platform shooter. It borrows elements from previous Housemarque games, and it's not ashamed to do so. Being a massive fan of the studio's work, Outland being my personal favorite, it truly feels like a futuristic Outland, minus the whole polarity shift concept. However, the color differences are still in place, with you wielding blue matter and enemies being made entirely of red matter. What's interesting is the fact that the game is a twin-stick shooter on an entirely 2D plane. It does take some time to adjust to the controls, as all the essential buttons are mapped to the top of the controller. The game is very heavy on platforming, but it's very well designed and rewarding. You'll jump, double jump, and dash your way to platforms as you move through the levels, but the game-changing dynamic is the ability to formulate loose matter and create platforms to stand on. This really makes the platforming feel fresh and rewarding. There are even times to cleverly create platforms as a shield from enemy fire. It's these little moments that really make the gameplay feel more involved. There are moments scattered throughout where you will enter zero gravity mode. These segments will give you full freedom to move around as you get to where gravity awaits you next. Now, combat does revolve around twin-stick shooting, but you'll have to do it in style if you want to earn some serious points. While you can just blast through your enemies, dashing into them will freeze them for a few seconds. Shooting them while they're in this state increases the point value and just looks awesome when you freeze a group of enemies to only blast them to pieces. When things get more intense, you can equip Augmentations. These are earned by finding civilians trapped within crystallized matter. You're allowed to equip 3 different Augmentations at once, each mapped to left, down, and right on the D-pad. These can range from passive abilities, such as Extended Overcharge Mode or Extended Health, to more active abilities such as a grenade launcher attachment or shotgun. These will certainly help when you feel the pressure of enemies closing in and need to clear the space. That's another mechanic to mention, Overcharge. This works very much like Resogun's mechanic where the game goes into super slow motion and you can decimate all enemy matter around you instantly. When this runs out, a blast will occur as well to further destroy any remaining matter on screen. It's not just immensely handy, but it looks awesome when using it as well. Matterfall has 12 levels scattered across 3 areas. Each last level of an area is a boss stage. While there are only 3 bosses in the game, since there are only 3 locales, the bosses are incredibly well done and very intense. Housemarque has always pushed intensity in their boss battles, and Matterfall is no different. Matterfall is missing one component that is usually incorporated within Housemarque games, co-op. While the game does appear to be specifically designed for a more tightly knit single-player experience, I couldn't help but notice the lack of a co-op mode. Previous titles have included either local or online co-op, and would help the replay value quite a bit. Once you beat the game, you can tackle the harder difficulty settings and try to nab the Platinum Trophy, but that's basically about it. It's not a tremendous issue, but one that does stand out. The gameplay is so well refined that you just can't help but wonder how awesome co-op would have been here. Also, while the level designs are great, and I really do appreciate that they changed up the locales, the final act's underground mine location was definitely the least interesting of the 3. It's still quite good, don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't hold the spectacle to the first 2 locales. Visually, Matterfall really is a stunning looking game. Playing this on just a standard PS4, the game does run at a rock solid 60 frames a second. The colorful sprites and voxels that the matter consists of animate incredibly smoothly. And Avalon herself also has very smooth animations, whether she's running and gunning in 360-degree motion, she's dashing, or flying in zero gravity. Much like Resogun's voxel destruction, seeing enemies shatter is a visual delight here. In terms of audio, Ari Pulkkinen returns to provide a high-energy electronic soundtrack that nails the game and setting. Each tune perfectly encompasses the action on screen. If anything, one of the reasons I get excited for a Housemarque release is due to Ari Pulkkinen's compositions, and the soundtrack is another hit out of the park. Sound effects also pack a serious punch, whether firing your arm cannon, shotgun augmentation, hearing enemies shatter, triggering overcharge, etc. I do love that Housemarque sticks with the AI voice that notifies you of your multiplier going up, your multiplier being lost, the augmentation you select, and most important, when your health is low. It just really adds to the immersion and arcade style feel. Ultimately, Matterfall is another excellent addition from Housemarque. The visuals are stunning, the soundtrack is superb, and the gameplay is downright addictive. It's nice to see the studio return to a side-scrolling action platformer, as it has been over 6 years since their last action platformer, Outland, released. Matterfall is an absolute must-own and another worthy addition for any PS4 owner. That's why Matterfall is getting a 9 out of 10.
Seeker. Health low. Shotgun.